1424. ಸರ್ಚ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಕ್ತೀಯಾ?
ಸೇವ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಲ್ಲ ಅದೇ ಫೋಲ್ಡರ್. ನಾಳೆ ಬರ್ಬೇಕಲ್ಲ
ಅಲ್ಲಿಗೆ
ಬರೋ ಗಂಟೆಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ.
So we are about to go live. We are all ready now?
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to this special session on foundries. This title is Future of Foundry Sector in India. Before we move on to this particular session, I would like to give you a small brief about Asian Metallurgy Show. As many of you know, Asian Metallurgy Show started in 1997 as a ground exhibition. It used to be conducted first at Nehru Center and then at BEC Goregaon, Mumbai. It was basically a ground exhibition coupled with the conference. After COVID, this show was transformed to digital content, uh, digital format, and this is the 12th edition of Asian Metallurgy Show. Now, what is Asian Metallurgy comprises of? Asian Metallurgy comprises of two parts. One is the global exhibition, virtual exhibition, which has virtual stands, different halls, and which have different companies exhibiting their technologies and products and services. And the other part is webinars. Now, the webinars, we conduct two webinars every day for the duration of the show, that is from 18th December to 23rd December. So today is the day where we have conducted the webinar on beneficiation of iron ore in the morning, and now we are in the webinar future of foundry sector in India. So talking about this webinar, we will discuss the present status of foundry sector. We will discuss the challenges of foundry sector, the opportunities the foundry sector is having, and also the future outlook of foundry sector in the country. As you know, foundry and castings form the basis of most of the industries, and one cannot imagine any industry without the metal parts or without the castings. So that much importance castings has in the present day industry sector. So having said this, I would like to introduce you to the expert panel which we have for this very interesting subject. Let me introduce Dr. H. Sundaramurthy. He is B. Metallurgy from IISc, ME Mechanical from IISc, and PhD Mechanical from IISc. He has got 15 years experience in various leading industries, 8 years as a professor of mechanical engineering in PSIT. Presently, he is running a non-ferrous foundry, Pune Metallurgicals, Bangalore, India, manufacturing aluminum alloy castings up to 200 kg single piece. Additional information about Dr. Sundaramurthy is he has undergone extensive training in molten metal filtration and inclusion investigation in US. He has a patent in aluminum metal processing, presented papers in Indian and international foundry congresses, and published papers professional bodies he is associated with is President 2011-12, the Institute of Indian Foundrymen, IIF, which is the apex body of Indian foundry sector. Former chairman of Energy Saving Commission, World Foundry Organization, past chairman of Indian Institute of Metals, Bangalore, governing council member of Aluminium Association of India, former president of Indian Foundry Organization, vice president of Laghu Udyog Bharati Karnataka, member of QCFI. Such an accomplished career and such an accomplished qualification. Thank you very much, Dr. Sundaramurthy,
Thank you.
for being with us and sparing your time. Welcome to this show. Then we have Mr. Prayut Bhamawat. Mr. Prayut Bhamawat is chairman of Institute of Indian Foundrymen, Western Region. Is a technical director of Mangalam Steel Cast Private Limited, Vadodara, and Sina Engineering Private Limited, Indore. Both belong to his family of companies. A famous casting foundry. After completing his education, he served in Siemens R&D department as a lead research engineer and published 2 patents in the company. Published 2 patents. That's great.
Yeah.
Published, matlab, your papers have got.
No. Basically, we filed a basis which should be mentioned.
Filed.
Yeah.
Not
Right.
published. It is filed. Filed 2 patents in the company. He is now the second generation foundryman, mainly looking after new product development and optimizing the manufacturing process. He has also tied with French company who are innovators and patent holders of manufacturing hard-facing electrodes and bag sole applicator role in that product in India. He is an active member of many industrial associations at different capacity. He is basically BTech from IIT Varanasi, BHU, and MS from Cornell University, New York. That is in New York. So you are BTech in what stream?
I did BTech in mechanical, and then
Okay.
followed by that I did my higher studies with biofuels actually. And then
Okay.
come to the
So
management.
your field was always related to metallurgy in some way. Related
some way it
to
got
what you are
related
doing
to
now in
that.
some.
Yes.
So thank you very much for sparing your time and welcome to this show. And then we have Mr. Date, Mahesh Date. He is managing director of Ved Industries, Hatkangale. That is near
Hatkalangale.
Pur.
Yeah,
Hatkangale.
it's a taluka place.
Okay. The short introduction of Mr. Mahesh Date is seasoned mechanical engineer with postgraduate qualifications in metallurgy and business administration, currently serving as managing partner at Ved Industries. He brings over 18 years of extensive experience in manufacturing business sector. His expertise has been recognized with awards such as Udyog Shri Award and the Best Supplier Award from esteemed organizations. As an active participant in industry associations and community service, Mr. Date holds key positions in the honorary president at Lakshmi Cooperative Industrial Estate Manufacturers Association and director in Western Region of Indian Institute of Foundrymen and chairman for Indian Institute of Foundrymen's Kolhapur chapter. Welcome, Mr. Date, and thanks for sparing your time. So,
Yes, sir. Thank you.
yeah, and so we will start the discussion. First I would like to have opening comments about the present status. As I told you, foundry, no industry can be imagined without castings and without support. So having said this, I would like to have your opening comments on the status of foundry industry, status of casting industry in the country, present status. I would start with Mr. Date.
Yes, sir. So can you switch me the another number? I think Mahesh, which is it will become more convenient to me.
Is it? So, okay, I'll do that. So meanwhile, we'll start with Mr. Bhamawat, and we will see your other number. Just a minute. Yeah, Mr. Bhamawat, start.
Yes, sir. So basically, first of all, thank you for giving us this opportunity. It's a well thought of event, and doing it online, it makes more sense. So Over here, as an opening remark for the future of foundry industries, or what you just mentioned, like what's the current status, the present scenario it is.
Yeah.
So we'd like to mention over here the present scenario as such is we have a mixed response in the industries. Especially for the automotive and the tractor, it's been slow. There are various factors affecting to it. Majorly is the seasonal, the rainfall that has been affected, due to which the tractor industry in the agricultural field there has been a less demand. But parallelly in the engineering segment and towards the railway segment, in fact on the defense segment, the demand has been growing, and and more products are required. The foundries those are supplying over there, they are facing issue of like overbooking. They are not able to deliver the product with the kind of demand that has been required. So it is a kind, as mentioned, it is a kind of mixed response, and the people, those who are serving into this engineering and the railway segment, they are planning, they are making an expansion and they are increasing their production capacity. Whereas for the automotive section, they are doing internal changes to upgrade themselves as the technology upgrade, because when there is a slowdown, that is the best chance to enhance or upgrade ourselves, because during the peak moment we cannot do that changes, we don't have a time to even think about it. So that kind of a mixed response is available in the market as of now. Mr. Chandekar, you are in mute.
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Bhamat, for your initial response. But one thing if I may comment, that you say the auto industry is currently in downturn or something, but that is I think that can be a temporary phenomenon. What we have seen as a steel supplier, I was in Mukun for a lot of years, and then in other steel company, we were supplying to forging industry, and also we were tracking auto industry very closely. Now also we track auto industry. In fact, on the first day of this event, we had a discussion on future of auto industry in India, which I'll share after we put it on the web, on our YouTube channel. But what I feel, for one, that auto industry will sort of revive after January, because that's
Yes.
the last quarter. Everybody is in a hurry to sell. So they also have targets. So they are also there. If you see the cycle in a year, their maximum sale happens in the starting from Diwali to the
Yes.
last quarter. Last quarter is the maximum sale. So that we can expect. That is number one. And secondly, I don't think the monsoon was bad this year. Monsoon was good.
It
So
is.
why should tractor demand go down? I mean, this is a question.
I guess Dateji would be able to highlight it much more over there. There has been a shift in that sense. And so basically, those areas where we do not expect much of rain, there has been a substantial rain. Those areas which is required to be rain, there has been a shortfall of the rainfall. So the things got mixed up. It got shifted to a certain extent. So that's the point, and very well said about the auto market. That is, the slump is basically because of the end of quarter. People start
The cycle they follow,
at their cycle they are following. That's because it's every year that it goes under the same. Yeah.
We may expect good auto demand in coming months.
Yes.
Thank you for your initial comments, Mr. Bhamat. Now I'll go to Mr. Date. Sir, your comments.
Yeah, thank you, Pariji. It's first of all, I thanks to Mr. Chandekar that is they are arranging this very very needful seminar, or may decide the strategic moment to everyone or every countryman's. And I thanks for involving as a panelist in this today's event. I really want to highlight on this topic because I keenly studied all these things. As mentioned by Projit, that auto sector is little bit down. But if you see the passenger car or SUVs are making they are crossed everything what they are earlier. Every record they are almost crossed. And I think Mahindra is recorded as a highest revenue in the SUV sale. That is the very appreciable, and they are predicted next 5 years as a very good path or good demand will be in the market. That's
Hmm.
a concern as Mr. Chandekar has mentioned that the steel demand is increasing. That is the because of the some of the highway vehicles demand is increased. That mine related vehicles or excavation related vehicles. The what infrastructure we are going on in this India, it's much requirement is or increased in this today's as per the what government has visioned us, government of India is mentioned as we are going to be a third global highest economy, and demand is increasing, and all everyone is aligning with that. That everywhere we seen that infrastructure development is going on. One thing I want to mention, Chandekar sir, that after post-COVID in 20 in IFEX, Prayuj, I think you are also observed that the all global buyers are came over there, and they just mentioned that India is quite uh, uh, reliable. Uh, Reliability wise, India is quite good, but the infrastructure wise, that time it was lacking behind, and we are not ready to grab this that opportunity. But in these last 3 years, what development we are observing, just we are aligning with all these things as per the global demand, and infrastructure is increased. Every countryman is increasing the capacity. Everyone is adapting the latest technologies. Everyone is strategy-wise is systematic approach is going on. Adaptive intelligence is increasing. All these positive things are we see, and I think it was the sign of future, that future is definitely bright. Future is there, and we just ready for to grab this opportunity. And definitely, in as far as steel demand is increasing, in cast iron, though there is a in Maharashtra there is a sort of rain, but it will be, I think, short trade problem is there. But after I think last quarter is also might be slow, but after April onwards, there will be the increasing the demand. And in North India, there was a good rain. Demand is very much good. In agri auto also, they are doing good. In South, quite average they are doing in agri auto. But commercial auto is also doing average. But of the heavy vehicles, excavation, mining related, all this demand is increasing, and that will be. If you see the agri auto is the basic backbone of the urban or village areas growth, and definitely the government will be addressed on this, and it will be some kind of short period. It will be demand will be going to increase. There is no doubt in it. There is
Yeah, thank you.
absolutely demand is we find a good in future.
Thank you, Mr. Date, for your initial comments. And of course, we will discuss the how bright is the future in coming time. I mean, next this thing discourse. Now, coming to your economy, growth of economy, Indian economy point, I just want to add one thing, that if Indian growth story has to materialize, as we say, India has a growth story. Always we say to the outside world, India has a growth story. So if that growth story has to materialize, the infrastructure has to grow, because Indian economy is the growth of Indian economy is revolving around the infrastructure development, right? And if infrastructure development has to take place, there is no bypassing of steel and metals in any form. So if Indian economy has to grow, steel and metals has to grow. So Indian economy needs a very strong foundation of metallurgical industry. So I feel that the future is bright. Of course, we'll discuss it afterwards. Now let me talk. Let me invite Dr. Sundaramurthy for his initial comments.
Yeah, good afternoon, and thank you, Chandekar ji, for inviting me. And I mean, as my young friends who are live in the Foundry line, day-to-day foundry line. They will make up my, I'm an old foundryman, 50 years in foundry. I have taken so much of sand dust and smoke and silica dust inside. So, and still alive. And the foundry industry, what we had a latest discussion with the government policy makers from the PM's office also in Bangalore. The growth is fantastic. I would say to all my young friends that absolutely there is no limit or anything. If at all they want to expand, plan for expansion and things like that. But they have to be cautious in the sense they must move to a little higher technical area if at all they want to prosper and make money. After all, we do business to make money finally. It is the export sector, and whether it is steel, iron or aluminum, export sector, and presently the defense sector is open. In fact, we had discussion with the three chiefs of Army, Navy and Air Force. And from, of course, Laghu Udyog Bharati, which is an all India body with 40,000 members, 45,000 members, Laghu Udyog Bharati Industries. And of course, we have 1,000 members in Karnataka. We met the chief of staff of Army, Navy and Air Force. The requirement for them, they called the materials managers of all the three chiefs. And the amount of requirement for all the three sectors is so high that our industry has to multiply the production 10 times. You don't believe, Chandekar, you go to military alone, the requirement for them, I'm not telling only castings, all engineering goods as such, they are having great difficulty in procurement.
Okay.
But if you can arrange a meeting or if you want any help, I can organize with the chief of Army, Navy and the Air Force. So much is the demand. The Indian defense alone, you can, all our foundries, including foundries and engineering operators, can really increase their turnover and increase their production. I'm telling you a rough estimate would be 10 times.
Great.
We are not able to supply to them.
Phenomenal.
So that is the thing. And very good opportunity is there for all engineering sectors.
Yeah.
And of course, I would like to hear from you what is the impact for electric vehicles on the foundry sector.
But I wanted to discuss
because you had one session, so I would like to hear from you.
Yes.
And the demand is really good. And we had a discussion with Chief of Bharat Forge, Babaji. He had come to Bangalore. He says engineering industries have to simply fly. I don't tell them to grow. They have to fly. Otherwise, there is no future for Indian industry.
I know.
And as you know, Bharat Forge has inked MOU with so many countries. He's already exporting rifles to 22 countries. And he's the one person who made rifles in India and exporting to all the countries. So like that, my young friends who are all listening and with me in the panel, in fact, the demand is fantastic. I would say you have to reach the right line. Now, probably with 10-15 years of your experience, and my young friend Banawat is from Cornell, and he must really concentrate on something edge, new technologies. That also should be there. And we basically, conventional foundrymen would like to go to the molding machine, see how the molding machine works or not, go to furnace, whether it works or not. Well, that is required. But, there is a lot of opportunity, plenty of opportunity, which if at all you want to do it and things like that. So present scenario, our young friends have told, I am just giving a ray of hope for the future industries. I think we'll add later. Thank you, Chandekar.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Sundaramurthy, for your initial comments, initial inspiration, I would say, in a way, that the industry is here to grow, here to fly, not to grow, here to fly, not to grow. So, but of course, there must be challenges in the journey, in this journey, and we will discuss those challenges also. Before that, I just want to respond to your point on EVs. So what we discussed is EV is not penetrating as was expected or as was in a way feared by us in that big way. It is only about 5% in four-wheelers as on today. And they say that there is a possibility that hybrid cars may become more popular. So if hybrid cars are here to stay, then they will need all the engine parts and everything because they are hybrid cars, no? So they will need this also, that also. So that way, I think the impact, what these experts were saying, the impact on their requirement for engine parts may not reduce that much. Even if it reduces to some extent, it will be compensated in some other area. May not be auto, and as we are saying, defense has a growing demand, railways has a growing demand. Mr. Bhamawat can reconfirm that. So all these things can more than compensate for whatever reduction in demand is there in the future due to EVs.
That's a good one.
Okay. Then new scrappage policy also will bring new vehicles in the market, and that will also boost the demand in some way. So they are feeling overall we can rely on auto, I mean the foundry sector to some extent as was before, plus the growth in other sectors. Now coming to the challenges part, as I told, there must be challenges in the journey. No growth journey is smooth, and the corrugated ears are always there in every journey. So what are the challenges in our in our industry? Mr. Date, starting with Mr. Date, and yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Chandekar sir. If we found across the industries in our foundry, that variety of products like engine parts, maybe power sector is also coming up with very demanding all the industries, that engine parts, that other auto components, auto industry, wind turbines, power machines, machineries, pipe fittings, that sanitary, building, commercial sector, all where the casting is required. And if you see the entire product bunch in the foundry, that almost, I think, approx 45 to 50% is casting last time. 22% is like 20% is agile. I think 10% is a steel contributing, and 15% is aluminum, and rest of zinc and all this coming. And that all this, if you find the EVs there, almost aluminum is going to increase. If we still, it is a debating subject that still EV is flourishing or not, because just battery changing will be started after 1 or 2 years. Then it will be going to prove it whether it will be the right technology or not. That's Japan is coming up with a hybrid technology. That Honda, Toyota, all are introducing hybrid technology. That means EV, because of EV, demand will be reduced or not, it is another part. But I think if you consider the EV, casting requirement for the EV or still passenger car and bus is very less. And that was not affecting the entire foundry demand, because other sectors are also coming up with a new
thing. We are talking about the challenges. Please.
That I'm coming with that challenging one.
Okay.
If we that it is the time. I once again I thank you for this arranging this seminar, because it will be definitely going to help the other who are listening for the pastel analysis to chalk out the right strategy for their organization. If we should be ready for the future demand, or flexibility should be there. The challenges definitely come up with the carbon emission norms, because as our government is seeing a third global economy in the world, they are also declared in G20 that we will be by 2070, the India will be zero emission. That is, if though 2070 is
Net zero. Net zero.
net zero is they are already declared. That is a major challenge. Accordingly, that we need to start from today. How we are going to adapt the green technology or green energy, how we can conserve in the energy. Because if you see, major challenges competing with the China is a price. Everyone today getting the inquiries, but the matching the price with the China is a very difficult task. And along with this, managing the emission norms and making a foundry as a greener, it is a big challenge. And definitely today cost, I think everyone is paying good cost to us within our India. And might be there is so much challenges are there, raw material price fluctuation, demand or availability of the price fluctuation, challenges agar the right people availability, skilled people availability. These are the I think
day-to-day challenges.
Day-to-day challenges. But we need to overcome this. We have the good strategic plan. We have to concentrate on the training the people, to making the green initiatives, conserving the energy. Because I think last industrial 4.0 is a technological, but I think fifth revolution is, I think definitely it's an energetic revolution. 5.0 is an energy based on energy. I think so. So we have to conserve the energy, and we have to concentrate on the green initiatives. That is the big challenge I am seeing in the future.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Date. You have come up with very valid point of making the foundries green. Of course, we are going to discuss that further. And now I go to Mr. Bhamawat. Mr. Bhamawat, please list your challenges.
No,
just one point that we have discussed, the manpower availability, scarcity. That also you mentioned.
Yeah. So yes, the point that before this thing we were discussing about, my concern is right now the first part would be the manpower thing. The major challenges for the foundry industry is because the kind of the conventional approach that we are using in the foundry, it's a very labor intensive process. And my workforce as of now, those who are working in the foundry, but they don't want their children to come into the foundry. So that's the kind of gap that will be starting establishing it. So what we required over here, it's we have to address that issue, why they don't want to come and what we can improve it further. So foundry is basically very well known as a 3D, dirty, dark, and dangerous. So we need to come out of that that 3D mode to more cleaner and sustainable mode, so that the workers, they also feel they are working into a clean environment, green environment, and we are understanding their health issues as well. So that is one thing. And secondly, again, China, as we were looking at why they grow, because there was a low cost in labor availability. Now the commissions that are been coming up, the new pay scales that have been coming up, we in India, we are also not that very far away from the cheap labor, with what we say. Now the minimum wages has been increased. So we are also getting into a higher cost production, because the labor cost is more. And if it still remains a labor intensive process, then we cannot control our cost of the casting. So we have to implement the automation. We will have to think about how to implement it and how to make skilled workforce to use that automation as a process. So one major factor is the right now what we have to look about is the manpower, how to train them and how to divert it from this thing. Secondly, as mentioned by Mr. Dateji, cleaner and greener technologies that has to be implemented, because India is the fastest growing. The entire world is looking at India. So there would be many countries that would be pointing fingers also at India if something goes wrong over here.
Yeah.
So to counter that, it has to be shown, no, we are going and we are also caring about the environment while we are making a progress. Though this developed countries, they exploited the environment and they grew to that extent. But that would be another challenge, like how to sustain the growth along with maintaining the expectations of other world leaders. So implementing of cleaner and greener technology is the must. And third, as I mentioned, we are bit not very far from the advantage of being cheap labor, or say low cost quality casting. So we will have to also look upon to optimize our process, increase the efficiency and productivity, maintaining that, so that we can still maintain the cost part. Again, the consumer is not ready to pay the higher cost, and customer is not ready. So the customer, they themselves has enhanced their capacity and the efficiency of their processes. Now it comes downturn to the foundry industries, that they need to upgrade their technology and make it more efficient so that the cost can be controlled upon. So I see majorly these three major challenges that's faced for the future in the foundry industry.
Yeah. Well said, Mr. Bamawat. First is manpower, then adoption of technology, and making the foundries cleaner and greener, and
Yes.
going away from 3Ds. Right.
That is required.
That is also required. One point we are forgetting or not mentioned, that is labor efficiency. That, of course, when you are saying automation, introduction of automation, that will increase the efficiency. But
Efficiency.
we were conventionally known as cheap labor, but inefficient labor.
True.
As a country. So
True.
that perception and that situation should change in coming years.
True. That's
Dr.
definitely required.
Yeah. Dr. Sundaramurthy, your set
Yeah,
of challenges.
The biggest challenge is the mindset of our foundrymen that need to be corrected, in the sense, I will give a small example.
Yeah.
We have to produce quality product. Absolutely, there is no shortcut in that. Just to give an example, my foundry for 40 years, the customer end rejection is zero. Customer end rejection is zero means it is not, there was no rejection, foundry rejection was there. I had trained my people that whenever they find a deficiency or a non-conformance, reject it in the foundry itself. Don't send it to my customer. So what happened is, in customers like BHEL, BEML, they gave self-inspection certification then itself, knowing our process. And recently we had a discussion from the Air Force, SEMILAC it is called, certification body. He told where engineering industries in India are failing is process, which we are not, we write it down very neatly, but we follow 50% and try to make a shortcut. So he was HAL, SEMILAC people who are the leaders for any air worthiness certification. He was telling that is process, nothing else. I think my young friends will understand that. So please write down the process, follow the process, follow it 100%. Then application or this one will automatically come. That has to go into our minds. And the other thing is, when I was the president, I always made a statement. In any foundry I go, if as a owner, if I don't want my son to work in my foundry, how do you expect your worker's son to work in that foundry? Or the worker is somebody's son. I can't expect him to work in that foundry. So I must create an atmosphere so that my son should be very happy to work in my foundry. That is basic. I mean, just to give a small example, I was visiting a foundry and I saw a lot of people eating their lunch on the fence side. sitting on the fence, on the ground and things like that. In fact, I made a remark to the owner of the foundry. Sir, why don't you create this? You believe me, within 3 months, he created a hangar for them to have food. There is, it is only awareness and mindset what we have to do it. Many times we think it is quality comes in the way of cost, which is not so as as pointed out by many experts. So quality has to be a way of life, and quality has to be built in. And I learned one from Semilac chief is process, 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 and process. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Saab. You have put the very valid points on the table. First is quality and the mindset. Mindset absolutely is fantastic point, and it has to be changed. It has to be changed. And I just want to add one point there. We have to also look at our salary structure. We always complain that we don't have enough manpower. We always complain that a lot of metallurgists and the technical manpower in Foundry, they switch on the industry. They go to IT industry. IT industry is stealing our people. That is the common complaint we all have against IT or computer science or whatever. But look at our salaries. Who will remain in your industry? Why a young engineer will should come to Foundry, or for that matter, I am not talking specifically Foundry this time, but I am talking about the metallurgical industry. Why he should come to you? You don't give good salary. You don't give good working environment. So he will always prefer other industries, no? We have to see ultimately if you want good people, your working environment also has to be good, clean, green or whatever, clean, and your salary structure also has to be at par.
Sir, I would like to pitch in over here for this one.
Yeah. Please comment. I know I'm not. This statement may not.
No, that's a very sensitive topic actually to say. In fact, yes. we are facing this issue as well when we go for a recruitment drive. Yeah. But we need to understand over here, first of all, the kind of expectations that has been set. Now, to say we recruit an engineer to be an engineer, when we define him as an engineer, then now there is a two classification. I would say a computer engineer, a separate one. Other than that, there is an engineer, because computer engineer doesn't do any engineering proper work. It's basically a programming stuff that is defined as an engineering. So I would say that's a separate and other engineers. Now, if we look at the computer engineer, when we normally start with comparing with them. They have a higher start. The jump start is higher because the margin over there is higher. So they can percolate down over there that the good margins to the salary of the requirement. Secondly, where you the infrastructure requirement. So basically, if you look at the computer industry, the infrastructure requirement that can be done from work from home also. That kind of the additional expenses that are there, which is not there in other engineering industries, that has been the fixed cost is very less. So that can be percolated down the line. But apart from that, if you look at any engineering, not only in the foundry, look at the civil engineering, look at the defense side. If people start thinking on that line, then the people won't be going for the army, navy, or the air force. Look at any other engineering industries, you will see a separate demarcation. Now, coming back to the engineering part, when we go for the recruitment, right, we see the difference. The engineer, as they are supposed to know, the kind of work they are supposed to know, the kind of job they are supposed to know, there is a very big gap. There is a very big gap between industry-institute partnership.
That is a different point. That is a different point.
That is a different point. But because of that, we have to start training that person. So the initial salary started low, because right now you are working as a trainee. You are just training. You are getting exposed to it, and then there is no limit on the salary front. So what you are comparing as of now, it's the basic when it starts in a progress. But once they have an experience, I guess over here we all three are the industry owners. So we do recruit the experienced person at a very high scale. They go at very high scale because they have experience, they can start delivering. And secondly, we have the profit divided into various other costs. So that's do go, and that is a sustainability
Sir,
portfolio.
sir, a fresher is not interested in your problems. He is interested in salary.
Sir, it has to start somewhere. Not everyone can go for a computer job. I would say that. And once they can get stagnated, but in engineering industry, they will never get stagnated. If you have the capacity,
right.
you can reach to
Yeah,
the
that is
level.
a valid point.
Sky is the
That is a
limit.
valid point. I also see many IT guys getting stagnated after 5 to 7 years.
Yes.
Because
But
there is
in
nothing more
our
to
industry,
deliver.
there is no stagnation. That
There is no stagnation.
I would perfectly agree. Yes, Mr.
Each coin
Dave,
has two sides, sir.
Yes.
Each coin has two sides.
Yes,
The way
yes.
you look.
Definitely, Pradeep. I just categorize the challenges in two different sectors or two. That's one is internal and another one is external.
Yeah, maybe.
I think internal is a environmental concern that we can work on it. Second one is technological gaps. We can overcome this.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
the external is workforce skills related, and second one is market competition. I think these are the external two. That workforce skill related is, I think, little bit. It is a dilemma. It is external or internal. Definitely, we need to attract the talent. For that purpose, we entire change the scenario of this foundry industry. It should be attractive, and definitely the talent have the challenges. If we challenges make the environmental and the foundry friendly foundry and free from 3Ds, then definitely it will be attract the talent, because talent definitely comes to the where that utilization
Yes.
or challenges there. It is a human being part. Just we need to work on it. And I think workforce skills is not that much challenge. Definitely we can work on it, and we can attract, because foundry have the so many challenges, so many talented jobs are there and skillful jobs are there.
Yes.
And in the IT sector, because of AI, I don't know what are the other things are going to be. It will be currently the people required for the programming and all these things. I think it will be replaced by AI. And definitely the foundry industry and engineering industry going to support to for the some kind of extent to no Rozgar Nirmiti in the India.
Yeah.
That is my opinion.
Yes, yes. I think one of the not exactly challenge, but one of the Dr. Sir was mentioning about the mindset. What when we graduated as metallurgists, we were thinking that look, iron carbon diagram is not going to change anytime, so we don't have to study anything else. Okay, so that was the thinking at that time. But now the skill set has to upgrade. Has to be upgraded every 6 months, 1 year.
Yes.
That has started in other industries like IT. That we can take it from there. That what you have learned 6 months back become absolute in 6 months. So we also have to upgrade our skill set and our staff skill set in that manner and that speed. Then only we will survive and we will thrive. So that was one point. And now let us talk about the opportunities, sir. We have talked much about the challenges. Yeah, the challenges are there in every aspect of life, including our industry, our profession. So let us talk about the opportunities. What opportunities we have? Domestic, international, technical, technology based. What? Starting with Mr. Date. Date, you were talking about the opportunities in your first comment. So please elaborate.
We are on talking about the future, then I am just concentrated on
absolutely. Please elaborate on opportunities.
That's why I'm mentioned the pestle analysis. You have to do the pestle analysis, because it will be support you the right means evolve the right strategy.
Yes.
And the strategies never means once it prepared, it will never work. It should be evolved.
Yeah.
And if we look at the future outlook of the opportunities, then I think future growth in the foundry sector definitely is there. Right, that I mentioned, we are globally we are a second largest casting manufacturer, I think 1.20 crore metric ton we are currently producing, and China is producing around 4.5 crore metric ton. Like that means 4 to 5 times
12
more than
million tons we
India
are producing. 12 million tons castings we are producing.
producing.
And
Then
China is producing around 24 million tons.
yeah, then if we make just 20%, we are going to attract the global customers to India. Then our economy or our capacity grow, our growth is double from the current scenario. That will help us. But we need to work on infrastructure. We need to work on our technological gaps that current, as we discussed on the challenges, and that new market application of casting is going to come up with that I earlier mentioned, that power project, power machineries, like that, mining related machineries, because so many global mining related machinery related manufacturers are coming to India, and they are just set up, or entire setup is making setup here only, and we need to support them. We need to just approach them. And that is the crux, how we can adapt that global challenges and demand, how we can inculcate, how we can make us ready. That rightly Dr. Sir said that we start from us only. This starts from Foundryman only. What mental block is there? Because if you find small Foundrymans, there so much negativity is there. We need to wash out them. We need to, that's Pradeep are taking so much initiative in a Western region, and we chapters are also working on it to aware the Foundrymans from this. So many initiatives, training programs are in IIF are going on, and definitely it will help to them that how to grab these global opportunities. Because if you find the casting demand or quality, casting means so much fluctuations are there, how we can be flexible for that. That means every casting is become a seasonable. If we find the rain is good, that huge demand is increasing. If the rain is bad, the demand is go down. If we in a compressor also, hermetic or seal compressor, that in summer season it's a peak, in winter season it's a down. All this we have to mix up product in our industry. Then we have to have the right strategy, evolving strategy, and the product mix is there. So it definitely it will help us to grow, or rather I can say fly in future.
Thank you, Mr. Date. And now I go to Mr. Bamot. What are the opportunities?
Sir, as such opportunity which has been forecasted, it is very good. Good for both the front, for the foundry sector, as well as we are in India. So for Indian foundry sector, it's even better. India has been looking as
we are discussing about foundry sector in India only.
So overall foundry is also good. And in India, we are sitting even better. So as such, what the data that has been so far has been researched, has been shown, it has been shown like the foundry sector will be growing by approximately 10% CAGR at that growth rate. So that is pretty nice. And with respect to the opportunities, as Dr. Murthy has already mentioned, we really need to focus on the high technical area. If we focus over there, then the growth rate will increase further. Now, because it has been coming up and it is quite visible, the foundry demand is good. So new plants are coming up. But again, those new plants are coming up, they will be taking up all the the conventional castings that has been available in the market. So on that side, there would be certain competition would be created and the prices would be low. But taking your own expertise and taking your own experience, and if you start going into the higher technical area, that's going to be a niche market. And because we are now going to do a lot of more exports, we are going to serve with the defense and the high precision and the highly technical requirement casting. So then that side, if we start focusing more, the opportunities is even higher and the profit margin would be higher. And that's where our visibility will be showcased on that side. So that's one of the point, like we do have opportunity, but at the same time, we need to upgrade ourselves. We need to use our own experience and the knowledge to go further than the conventional process and the new kind of in fact, I was one of the conference that they were mentioning, like the now the aluminum which has been focused on, that would be replaced by the magnesium alloys, because that is again coming with it's going showing a much more higher properties and better properties compared to what the aluminum is showing. So that's the way that we have to evolve about, and that's the part. The opportunity is good. It's like how much you can grab it. It's up to you.
Yeah, that's well said, Mr. Bamod. Can you specify some sectors?
Yes,
When I say good opportunities, I would like to have some sectors where, like Dr. Sundaramurthy said, there are tremendous opportunities in defense. So,
yes.
like that, can you specify some sectors where the opportunities lie? Future
Sir, I can definitely say about one of the sector has been mentioned by Dateji also, the mining.
Yeah.
Mining sector is pretty good. A lot of OEMs they are setting up their base as India over here, and they are going for the local sourcing, obviously to reduce the cost and everything. So the mining is a very big sector. Then the railways, because the government of India is expanding a lot on the dedicated freight corridor, DFC. So the new lines are coming up, and they are investing a lot more, because, and that's the way this government is working really good. They are having a vision, they are focusing on that, and along with the DFC, that the corridor they are setting up now, that's corridor has been set up, then the wagons and the coaches requirement would be equally required. So they are starting releasing the tender, and recently, a couple of days back only, we heard that in Kolkata, two major wagon producer got bagged crores of order for the wagons. So the Indian Railways, there, that is going good. That is pretty much in demand. Then the machinery parts, because again, engineering industries, I will say, that is good. Automobiles, as you mentioned, it's going to be increasing for next another 2-3 years at least, because the market is there and people are asking for it. So that is another part apart from the defense.
What about the power sector?
Power sector, I'm sorry, sir, I won't be able to comment much, but because I have not been exposed too much to it. But yeah, I have a less idea about that thing.
Yeah, Mr. Date.
Yeah, power sector is also working good, because see, the Suzlon share earlier it was at 7 to 8 rupees. Now it's reached up to above 50 rupees.
Yeah,
because of the demand of renewable energy and wind energy is also increased.
Yeah,
and that earlier the wind turbine manufacturing almost that it was stopped, but now it's a flourishing, and it's a huge. Definitely, it will be the demanding tremendously future.
Yeah.
And one thing I want to mention that when the Make in India initiative taken by our government, earlier it was in supplying to railway and defense, it was quite difficult. We don't know how we can reach there, but now it becomes easy. Anyone can participate with some procedure is there, but it is quite easy.
Defense expos, no? On regular basis, where you are able to interact with those organizations.
Yes.
So they are also being quite open about interacting and interacting with the industries.
Yes, yes.
So
good. I would now go to Dr. Sundaramurthy, but before that, sir, I want to bring one point on the table, that let us also talk about the international opportunities. We see that conventionally Europe was the destination of all good foundrymen. We used to export a lot to Europe, but unfortunately, last few years, European economy is getting stagnated because of various reasons, because of the over maturity of the economy. That is number one. Then now Ukraine-Russia war, now Israel-Hamas war, or whatever you call it. But due to all this, Europe has lost its prime position as a importer of casting. So, where are the emerging markets in the world? Talk about the international opportunities as well. I understand that domestic market is growing and it is growing at a tremendous pace, but still we have to have some international component in our trade. So what is that component will come from? Where that component will come from? Where are the export opportunities? That also you take you include in your speech, Dr. Sundaramurthy.
Yeah, coming to your title of future of foundry industry.
Yeah.
I would classify the foundries into probably one is the micro, which is a one-man show proprietor, and mostly he is a technocrat. And usually what I have seen, many technocrats, they are really experts in their field. But their financial planning and strategy is so poor that they end up with a big loss or a problem after, say, 5 to 10 years, because they don't plan 10 years. I am an expert in casting, for example, so I go on making challenging castings. I supplied more import substitution, but I kept the cost at Indian cost. So finally, I could not supply later. So the technocrat line, unless it is harnessed, he normally doesn't take a finance partner or advice. He single man thinks he is the expert in everything. Unfortunately, which is not so. He failed miserably. So that probably many of the people who are listening as a proprietor and an expert in the field should really concentrate on the finance aspect of running the unit. I would sincerely advise the people there. And then they should plan to become small units. From micro to small is a small gem, but there is at least some few people who will guide him. So the future of a micro industry, future of a small industry, then you come to the medium sector, at least it has got a team of people. And still I would put long range planning is not in full order. In the sense they don't think of 15 years ahead, what I would be doing. They don't put a team or some expert brain to think what they should be doing. My young friends sitting with me, they can also think I'm doing the foundry of this type of castings. Maybe 15 years hence, what I should be doing. That planning we have to do right away so that our future is also ensured in the sense. Of course, the large and captive, they have got a long range planning. They have got what plans to be done. And the biggest challenge for a proprietorship firm is the posterity and continuity of operation, which is not there because most of the foundrymen send their sons or daughters abroad and they stuck up there. They will not come back. With great difficulty, we brought one from chief of Microsoft to a foundryman. He became a foundryman and a successful foundryman. He is helping his father very well and excellently. But it is not the case. It's a 1 in a million case. So you have to build a team. You have to plan for the posterity of your unit. Succession plan should be pakka. Otherwise, as a technocrat and an expert, you put everything in shape, but at some point of time, you feel you cannot run it. There is nobody to run it. So such things are very common in India. And the planning, succession and things like that should be very, very clear. Then we think of future of foundry industry in India. So the future of foundry industry, as I was telling, I was always positive. And what we are producing now, probably we are producing 13 million tons, and China is doing 49 million tons. And China, in fact, has reduced a bit from 53 to 49. So that means that must have come to India or elsewhere. And the scope for Indian casting industry alone is fantastic, I would say. I think all my friends are full with order. They don't know what to do, but they are not. They don't have time to think of tomorrow. That because the pressure is so much. Somebody telephones, 50 pieces should be ready and supplied, and we run for 50 pieces to be dispatched. I think this, the owners of the industry have to take a leave one day in a week from Foundry. The Foundry will run, don't worry. What you have to do is you must discuss with people or go to Google, go to this, how to improve upon in your own line. You need not search for a different line altogether. That is of course a expansion area which can be done. But as I told Chandekarji, the discussion with the chiefs of Army, Navy and Air Force staff is so much. Each one of you can produce 10 times and supply to Indian defense. So much is the demand. And of course, I would say future of Foundry, not as such. What each Foundry must go to is sub-assemblies and assemblies. If you don't produce a product, your life is limited. You have to go to a product. Please take it very seriously. If you are supplying it to Tata Motors, Mahindra, or anybody, tractor, if you can produce a gearbox casting with the gearbox assembly and supply the gearbox to them, you will make more money than supplying a casting alone. So you have more margin and more things to expand and spend for your R&D work. That would be my sincere advice. And based on my experience, you must immediately think of sub-assemblies, assemblies, and or parts. The parts what we produce and give it to automobile. In fact, in one of the discussions, if you remember, we would request Maruti, Mahindra or Tata Motors to give bill of material, BOM, and put the cost and total the amount totally, and then show, let us show how they arrive at 14 lakhs for Celerio or something like that. It will not come or whatever.
They will never give that costing.
Yeah, that costing. So that way, Foundry, if they continue to sell based on pricing, will be very difficult to grow. And as already pointed out, we cannot pay our engineers. Unless we pay, we don't get people. Unless we get skilled people, we can't run it. You can't even produce the demand of India. How can you produce other places or export? So what immediately we have to work inside and go to product, sub-assembly, assembly, and go to tier 1, tier 2 and supply and grow in that area. That would be my scope for Foundries. Is fantastic if they grow in forward integration. If they don't do that, they will end up with I have produced 50 tons, I have produced 60 tons next month, 65 tons, 75 tons, but end up with the same profit. So you must go for product, sub-assembly, assembly. I think, of course, a lot of problems there inside. But young engineers, young people are there who are on the head of the units. You must seriously think of that. Thank you, Solomon.
Thank you, sir, for your insightful comments. Of course, I was asking also about the overseas opportunities. So with Europe stagnated, where are the emerging markets for foundries? Can anybody throw light or something on this?
Yeah.
Or we are very busy in our domestic market, so don't talk about exports. That is our stand.
Yeah, Mr. Chandekar, India having the good domestic market, no doubt about that. But if we see the scenario of last 7 years, we just from 2.7 billion tons, we reached around 4, and with a 5% CAGR. Then definitely it is going to be increased. And I think if you bifurcate that entire market, that 32% is automotive, 10% I think agri machineries, and rest are within 5 to 10%. All means fittings and all these commercial industrial machines, or all are from, everything is within 5 to 10%. The major chunk is automotive, 32%. It is definitely it's increasing, and don't know what it will be in future because of the EMs and all these things. But definitely, I can't say that particular this area will require more casting, or Europe is the future market, or America is the future market. We can't say. We can't predict it. Because today so many disruptions are coming over. If you find that one is major challenge is 3D printing also in castings.
Yes.
Anytime you can produce one
That we have not discussed actually. That is a big challenge. That is a big challenge
that we are not mentioned earlier. But it is a big challenge because everyone is come up with a 001, that is zero defect, zero inventory, batch size 1. That is demanding of feature demand of the each customer.
Yes.
That if you have to have produced the single casting also, and that because of 3D printing it is a possible, and that definitely it will be change all the foundry scenario. That foundry means process limitations. What we are demanding for the customer if we get the orders, and currently the customer also are considering all these things because of the some process limitations. But in future it will be not like that. We have to ready for that. Just we have to study where the demand is there, where the cost reduction opportunities are there. We come up with the solution, and we have to provide the solutions to the customer, not only being a casting supplier. That is the, I think, major demand we have to serve to grab the more opportunities in the future.
Thank you, Mr. Date. You are also resonating the same this thing as Dr. Murthy is saying, that we have to be growing beyond only castings. Assemblies. You have to talk about the assemblies.
Assemblies, yeah. How we can add the more value added, we can add. That one thing is good, that globally customers are looking at India as a reliable source. That is the really we pride on it.
Yeah.
And we have to grab that.
You want to? Yes.
Yeah, basically, regarding the concerns regarding the export opportunities that you mentioned. Yeah, definitely the situations are a bit with the euro slowdown. There has been a bit slump in the overall requirement from of the castings, but for India it's still growing because of post-COVID. That's a China +1 policy. So the few inquiries that were not coming in, that was not pouring into Indian markets, that has started coming over here. So we still have the opportunities over there. So for the people, those were already exporting earlier, they have a fixed market and all these things. For them, there has been a slowdown. They has faced that issue, but equally they got an opportunity to interact with the new customer base and start exporting to other segments that they were not doing earlier. So that way, see, up and down is the part, and it's a part of the business in any ways. So, but still, it has not affected Indian market, and the export opportunities still are good for those who are especially expanding that market into the export because of this. Even we are getting new inquiries, we are getting a new customer base, we are getting a new companies that we never heard of earlier, and they are sending us the inquiries, and then we are submitting the quotation, and that process is going on. So that way, as of now, we are yet to be more concerned about. So yeah, that would for the export market.
Is Africa waking up?
Yes, basically, again, if Africa is again a major.
At least North Africa.
They are importing a lot of castings for the mine, especially the mining. Now they are also waking up, and they want to replace the imports with domestic production. So they are more interested In fact, recently we had a few interactions. They are more interested, people coming up over there, setting up their foundries to meet their local requirement. They are facing two major challenges. One, there is no big casting manufacturer over there. And secondly, that because there is no big casting manufacturer, the technology upgradation or technical knowledge is also a bit lacking over there. So they are waking up, their requirement is waking up, but at the same time, they are also start focusing on, made locally over there. So they are focusing more to have a more technical knowledge and know-how and set up a foundry over there rather than to import. That's the new drive that's taking place over there.
And what about Southeast Asia? Have we lost it to China?
Southeast Asia, see, again, the Southeast Asia is increasing. They are also coming up. So basically, the China share that got distributed, I would say India was lacking behind to grab major market out of it because it was expected that India will take major chunk. Unfortunately, that is not the case. It has been distributed a lot between these Asian countries. Vietnam has taken, in fact, a major chunk, I would say. They are growing a bit. So, yeah, I mean,
Thailand is a good foundry industry.
Yeah, it's a good foundry industry. And
it's emerging.
Over here, it got lost because parallelly we got a domestic growth. So people felt there was no major need to go out and grab that chunk because we were quite satisfied over here. So that may be a good reason. And secondly, the technological upgradation was much faster in other countries than compared to in India. We have to look at the negative aspect as well.
Yeah,
I would like to add a point here.
Yeah,
SMEs and foundry, including innovations and innovative products and innovative thinking and operations. Those things are getting picked up quite extensively. And Indian Institute of Science, it has made a separate department itself for MSME and innovations. It is a big campus in Chitradurga in Karnataka, and they are going to teach MSMEs on things like how to innovate, how to improvise for MSMEs. If any of the listeners are also interested, we can get in touch with the Institute of Science, Chitradurga unit.
Anyway, sir, thank you very much. And we all are discussing about foundries, the challenges, the future, the present condition for last, I think, 1.5 hours almost. We are all professional, we are all passionate professionals. So we can keep on discussing for another 2 hours also. But let us call it, let us have a stop at some time. So I think we had a very intense and very interesting discussion covering all aspects of foundry and all challenges and, as I said, opportunities. Ultimately, if India has to grow, metallurgical industry and foundries have to grow. So we are, the forum feels that all of us feel that we are up for a very bright future for foundries. And so we stop here. Just last word is that foundry, foundry is like a tailor shop. Ultimately, what is foundry? You are producing casting as per the design supplied by your customer. So it is ultimately a tailor shop. So
that is what we have to go beyond that.
Yeah, we have
to grow.
We have to go beyond that
and do
to assemblies and solutions.
Yeah, and largest challenge, as we discussed, is the skilled manpower.
Yes.
And salaries, welfare, environment goes along with it.
Yes.
No mistake, sir.
I just want to make last point that manpower requirement, the trade bodies, the associations, the government bodies, ministry bodies, they have lot of role to play in this. They have to come up with some course, some postgraduate course or some professional course for foundries in future. So that will ensure the smooth flow of technical manpower to this sector. And of course, we have to look upon the salary factor also. As I mentioned, nobody will come to you
So, Mr. Chandekar, just I want to
Yes.
mention one very actually, if we think that what business we are really in, actually, what business we are really in, what it comes that we are just outsource the infrastructure. If we think about with the perspective of OE, we just outsource of the infrastructure. That's it. That is our business, because we don't have our own design, we don't have our own product. Just we are working on customers' design and just producing the components and supply. That's it. So
Anyway,
that is the major crux.
lot of ways to look at Foundry.
Yeah.
Try to go one step ahead.
Various
beyond
angles.
that.
Just as
Various,
Dr. Murthy has mentioned that we need to add more value.
Yes, that
Or
value
we go
addition
for the
factor is
assemblies.
very well taken, sir. This is very important factor. In all, all said and done, value addition is very important. So I think we stop here. But I again thank all the panelists, Mr. Bhamawat, Mr. Date, and Dr. Sundaramurthy for your excellent insights and excellent experience sharing. I think everybody has a lot of takeaways from this discussion. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thank you very much.
Chandekar ji.
Thank you.